This is Dave, the guru, and another tutorial using Gamesalad. In this video, we're going to talk about rules and how they work, and how you use them to build logic to control things and make things happen in Gamesalad. Now, rules are the basics by which everything is done in Gamesalad as far as controlling things and setting when things are to happen or not to happen. So let's go ahead and open an actor, and we'll just go up to the quick button here and make a rule. And we'll take a look and talk about rules for a second. Rules work very similarly to a switch that turns on a light in your house. When the light switch is on, the light comes on. When the light switch is off, the light goes off. Rules work in a very similar method inside Gamesalad Creator. So we have conditions in a rule, which are what controls a rule, and conditions appear in this white section of a rule. And basically they tell when we want behaviors or different parts of our logic to change based on how we set it. So we'll go ahead and do some very basic elements in here so you can kind of see how rules work. So we have two ways we can set our conditions to respond. We can set when all conditions are valid or when any conditions are valid. For right now, we're going to work with the when all conditions are valid statement. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a basic when actor receives event touch is pressed. So when we touch the actor and press it, which is simulated through the mouse in the interface. When I click on the mouse button, that's a press. When I'm inside the actor's parameters and I press it. So let's go ahead and we'll use a simple display text behavior to demonstrate this. So let's go ahead and preview it. And I'm going to come down with my mouse. Now you'll see I am inside the actor, and I'm now pushing my mouse button, which simulates a press on a touch screen. You'll see that the text displays, and when I release the mouse, I no longer have a press. The rule tells it not to function, the conditions to not show what's inside that gray area. And now I'm outside the area of it, and you can see I'm pressing around on the screen and nothing happens because I'm not inside that actor area. And when I return to the inside and institute a press, the text displays. Now that's a very simple, basic rule in how we control events happening in Gamesalad. So now let's go ahead and we'll amp this up a little bit, or we'll show you another way that we can control things. So let's go ahead and let's keep this condition pressed in here, but let's add a condition to this all statement. And I'm going to do it using the position of the actor, which I'll get in a minute. But let me go ahead and drop this control code I pre-wrote in here. And we'll go back to the prototype so we can see the position on the screen. And you'll see my X position is currently 283. So let's go back into our prototype and let's add a condition, and we do that by this little plus icon here. And we're going to go ahead and actually we're going to look at an attribute. So we're going to look at the position of the actor. So we're going to say when touch is pressed and when the actor's position on the X is greater than 283, go ahead and display this text. So now we've put two conditions in here. So now both of these conditions, or all of them, need to be activated or matching, in this case, for the text to display. So let's go ahead and I'll drag it this way. And then when I drag farther, you'll see when I cross that threshold of the 283, the display goes on. When I release the button, even though it's farther than the 283, because I released the press, that condition as well is not met. When I go back, you'll see it goes away and it comes back. So now we've gotten this where we have multiple conditions in our rule telling when we want events to happen in this section. So we could go ahead and switch this to any, and if we preview it now, when I press it, you'll see that no matter where I am, the text will display, and when I let go over here, it's going to disappear. But now when I come over to this side, it's going to stay because either one of the conditions are being met. So this is how the any portion of a rule works. And we have many ways that we can set these conditions. We have use it by an attribute like I just did. You can build a numeric expression. You can build a text expression. We can do it based on events, overlaps or collides, rotation, key, all of that. So I could add another condition to this any condition. I could say when actor receives event, key down, and we'll go ahead into the keyboard and we'll say when the D key is down, we're going to go ahead and do this as well. So let's go ahead and we see we don't have nothing. I'm going to press the D key and you'll see that the text displays and goes off, and it will still work with the press, and it'll still perform the other things that we set as parameters. And so this is the basics of how we work in rules. Now we also have this otherwise condition. And this actually works in the opposite way of these conditions. So we could simply, to demonstrate that, we could take this display text and we could drag it into this otherwise area here. And so basically when all the opposites of these are happening, it will do the otherwise. So it says if all these otherwise every other, do this. So you'll see it displays. When I press it, it's going to go away. When I'm over here, it's not going to display. Now when I'm over there, it's going to display. When I push the D key down, it's now going to do the exact opposite commands that I told it to do. And this is how the otherwise section of a rule works. It basically does the exact opposite of what we've told it to do up in these conditions section here. And these behaviors in here, whether I'm using a display text, you can put anything that's in these behaviors areas over here. You can put anything in here. We could put a pause game in here. We could put a change attribute in here. So any piece of code or behavior or element of our logic building works in these rules in the same way as we did or I demonstrated with the display text behavior, and causes the code to fire. And now we must remember as well that rules in an actor fire in order, or the logic coding that we build fire in order. So it's critical that we place our elements as we're building out our logic in the order that we would like the events to happen. And we'll get into that in later videos about how we build out our code after we go through all these different elements, as I teach you about all the elements of Gamesalad, and we'll teach you how to build logic coding in Gamesalad. But these are the fundamental elements and a beginning understanding about how rules function and work in Gamesalad Creator. You can find me on the forums under the name Lost Oasis Games. This is Dave, the Guru. I'll see you in the next video.